All right, red splash black aggro. As a few people in chat have observed while we were getting set up, this deck is very similar to the unlicensed disintegration based aggro decks that saw play during Amonkhet Standard. We got some solid upgrades though. We've got Goblin Chainwhirler here out of Dominaria. We've got Rekindling Phoenix, which is another evasive threat that pairs well with Glorybringer. That's also recursive. We've got some Bonecrusher Giants here. Is just one of the best red cards that's been printed in recent memory, possibly ever. And then Unlicensed Disintegration here is our only black card in the main deck. So this allows us to destroy larger things and then also deal damage to our opponent, kind of like Searing Blaze that's souped up, assuming you have an artifact. And then the black cards also give us access to sweet cards in the sideboard. So Thoughtseize to disrupt things like Ramp or faster combo decks, Arguel's Bloodfast to grind against control, and then Dreadbore as additional supplemental hard removal. So let's go ahead and dive on into a league with this one and see how it goes. Guess who woke up 5 hours of sleep and lit 30 tickets in the Pioneer Challenge on Fire 02? This guy right here. Morning Boneless. Oh, challenge events. This deck misses Copter like most aggro. I mean, we have Heart of Kiran. Like, Heart of Kiran plus Scrapheap's not terrible. We have plenty of things that crew Heart in here. Copter was a good ban. That's definitely not one that I look back and go, there's some questionability. Yeah, Heart is also good with 4 mana Chandra, for sure. This hand's great. 2 different 2-drops, 2 different 3-drops. I'm excited about that one. I think we just Scrapheap here. Whirly Boy is going to take out Crypt Breaker next turn. Q Goody, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope your end of year is going swell. Thanks for supporting me this month with that. So Lazotep Reaver here lets them draw a card with this Crypt Breaker, so it does get to replace itself, but the Chainwhirler does get a good bit of value here, gets to clean out the zombie army in addition to the Breaker. Yeah, I think Chainwhirler is very reasonable. We played a mono red deck yesterday that had some similarities to this, and I think one of the misses that it had was the lack of Chainwhirler in it. Card is real strong. 3/3, 3/3 first strikes, nothing to scoff at as well. Okay. Bomat Courier looking pretty mediocre here. Definitely a card that's not stellar in these matchups where people are playing to the board. So almost certainly going to be one of our first cuts when we go to sideboarding. Yeah, I think Glorybringer is arguably the best 5-mana spell in this format. It's very good. Sure. Probably taking Glorybringer regardless. Been watching for a long time, mostly on YouTube, and figure it's time to put some money up. I submitted a standard deck last night via the forum, but reading is hard. I did it twice to correct the amount. Got it. Well, I appreciate it. Oh, taking that. Let's bring back Scrapheap Scrounger. That's great. If you submitted it late last night, you should get a response tonight. I did respond to everything that was in there after I got off yesterday. Ooh. Yeah, right? We just like kill their stuff and attack. Just like disintegration this, wild slash this, smack you for 7. Actually, it's actually just lethal if they have nothing, right? Just puts them to 7, then we kill that. That felt really clean. Bomat Courier, easy cut here. Especially on the draw. I think we just bring in more removal. Abrade, Magma Spray is excellent. Pretty sure Aethersphere Harvester is just like the nuts against aggressive decks. Seems real good. Adrian, thank you for the 5 months. Keep up the amazing content. There's a way. There is not a way to manually resub with Prime. And I think part of the reason, I understand why Twitch does that. They don't want people just like setting it, forgetting it, unlike streams they don't actually watch. I think I trim a Chandra. I don't want to clunk up too much on too many expensive cards. When you resub with your Prime and you refresh the page, it'll tell you what day your Prime is up for renewal on again, and then I always just put a reminder on my Google Calendar. I remember to use mine each month too. If you got that Prime, even if you don't drop it off here, make sure you drop it off somewhere on Twitch each month. Think of it as donating some of Bezos' dollars to someone here on Twitch. Lord knows we need it a lot more than he does. Easy mulligan here. Gonna keep bottom a mountain. A little bit greedy, but I think it's fine. The fact that this is like a 2-mana play, a 3-mana play, a 4-mana play is just so good. How big of a dumpster fire was the blue-white deck? We want to match. To set expectations, we want to match. A less greedy person would bottom the second Phoenix there. Does zombie deck have a way to get rid of Phoenix? Probably not without killing it twice. I'm reminded my Prime expired when I get silenced in chat. Fair. If you come into my channel and you see a Twitch ad, that's a good reminder your Prime's up too. I know some people mostly watch on YouTube though and drop off their Prime. Those are often the people that are like, I need a reminder. Because they're not here live every day. And it's a good reminder too, especially if you're someone that's watching this on YouTube in the future. I don't need to be live to drop off Prime 2, so if my live schedule doesn't line up with what you're able to drop by on, the real MVPs are the ones that show up even when I'm offline and drop off Prime support. Y'all rock. I think I'm trading Bonecrusher Giant for this zombie here. Like, trading for a token, like, feels bad, but, like, they discarded a card for this token, and, like, I don't want to just sit here and take 3 over and over again. Remember that time I was greedy and bottomed to land? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I think I'm just playing a 4-3 out here. This is real good. Every time they cast a zombie, they get a token. Really need a disintegration to kill this. Yeah, the Zombies deck is very good. If you haven't seen the Zombies deck in action before, that probably means you haven't been to my website. 10 out of 10, recommend checking that out. It's one of the many Pioneer decks you can find up there that's sweet. How late do I sleep when there's no kids in my house? Well, I mean, I'm live by 8 a.m. for the Stream-a-thon plan, so... To answer your question, not super late. It's also easier to get sleep without kids in the house, because one of the I love my kids, they're great, but the worst thing about kids is the unpredictability they bring. Like, when the kids aren't here, I think I want these extra removal spells. When the kids aren't here, I can know that, like, if I go to sleep at 10:45, I'm gonna get 8 hours of sleep. Like, I'm gonna get to sleep till 7 a.m. when my alarm goes off. Whereas, like, you know, if I want to try and sleep for 7 to 8 hours, I need to go to sleep with, like, a 9-hour window, because the probability that, like, one of them wakes me up early or they need something in the middle of the night because something happens is, like, very real. When I first started watching you, I thought having a website was stupid, and now I use it all the time. I mean, if you use the website well, there's a lot of good things to leverage, right? I feel like my website's got a lot of relevant information on it for folks. Especially the favorites page. If you're someone that keeps up with a lot of my stuff, but there's a lot of it. Every day I tag a favorite league from each arena and moto usually. So you can find the best of my content very easily. Do pets count? In my experience as someone who grew up with a lot of pets, pets are a lot easier than kids. Yep. Pets don't learn to talk either unless you're in a Disney movie. Yep. Parrots are a good call. Soul-Scar Mage just holding down the fort here. I think I'm going to go ahead and Abrade this 2/2. I think I just don't want the board to get too particularly large here. If I like I'm going to play this Phoenix next turn, for example, and like if they end step kill my Phoenix and like untap kill the egg and attack with a bunch, I take a lot of damage. I think just cleaning that out is pretty ideal. I have 7 dogs, and they're still easier than a single child. To be fair, the kids have largely gotten easier as they get older, which is nice. There's like, I feel like the difficulty curve of having a kid, it's kind of curve shaped. Like when a kid is first born, they're incredibly easy, and then like once they start being able to like roll over and crawl, the difficulty comes back up, shoots up a bunch, and then it starts slowly coming back down as they get older. I mean, that's quite literally what we're playing right now. Orbidoto, right? We're playing Phoenix in Big Red. This deck is essentially a Big Red deck. It spikes again in teenage years. I don't know about that. Alright, what are we doing here? I think I'm just playing Goblin Chainwhirler. The trigger doesn't get much value, but the board presence is meaningful. Oh, and it shrinks this. I forgot about that. Forgot about that interaction. That's so good. Yeah, potty training is definitely the biggest quality of life upgrade. Yeah. Look at this beautiful altar border card. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Finally, and then artwork. Thanks, Moto. Appreciate you. Welcome to the party. Okay, they're down to 2 cards left in hand, so kind of at parity on board. just like waiting for the first person to draw a bomb. I feel like we're favored from a position like this just because we have like Chandras and Rekindling Phoenixes and Glorybringers in my deck. Hey, Phoenix, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, I could have killed the Reaver for free. Yeah, that's true. Good catch. Missed killing the Reaver for free. Krago, my ego. Thank you for the big tip. I appreciate it. For Rakdos midrange, look at that. Hail to the black-red deck. The Castle Lockwayne is actually a really big deal here. This is one of their better draws. It's going to allow them to pull ahead. Need to find something that can pressure their life total to punish them for activating this castle every turn. Worth noting too, they have an Urborg out at the moment, so this Mana Confluence can be tapped without hurting me, which is nice. Hey look, there's Rekindling Phoenix I was talking about being excellent. Go. Phoenix closes very quickly here. Demands 2 removal spells, which is nice. Hey, happy man. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Giant dragons blowing through ya. Do 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 do. Opponent's deck's definitely a little bit more of a synergy deck than ours, and synergy decks, when they get to top decking positions like that, where both players are low on resources, tend to favor the decks with the higher average card quality like ours. I don't want to work, just want to bang on the drum all day. Do 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 do. This dragon means business, chat. Dragon means business. Definitely, I like this card in this format too. It's one of the reasons why the blue-red Phoenix, the blue-red Eldrazi deck is what I've stuck with. I think this card's reasonably powerful. Just evasive creatures in general are good. Brazen Borrower is another example of evasive threat that's just excellent in this format. It's not amazing, but definitely keepable. Yeah, with no path to exile, Phoenix definitely feels real good. I think I lead on basic mountain here, just in case they're a Land War Elves deck. Although if they Land War Elves, do I want a Wild Slash it? Maybe I do want a Blood Crypt, just because I could Chainwhirler a Land War Elf. Yeah, I think we're just gonna let that one die to Whirly Boy. I guess they could play a Lord on too. That's pretty good, yeah. To a degree. I mean, like, Elf is good because it does more than just that. Whirly Boy up in your base, shooting rockets in your face. So they do get to sacrifice Selfless Spirit to protect the Mausoleum Wanderer here, but do still get a card out of just the trigger, which is great. By the way, something I need to remember to mention today, if you are a Twitch sub who hasn't filled out the sub survey, I'm going to be closing responses after today so I can do a final count. So think we've had like 700 or so responses out of the 2,400 subs we have here. So if you're someone that cares about giving feedback there, make sure you take the time to do that today. I think the November survey had like 1,000 responses, so that doesn't surprise me too, because the formats were real bad then. People are more likely to vote when things are bad than when things are good. So we're going to Wild Slash this, and then we're going to stomp this Nebelgast Herald. The sub-survey is linked in the announcements channel of the subscriber Discord server. That's good for the 2020 US election. Here's hoping. If you scroll up in the announcements channel on the Discord server, it should be in there. I'll repost the link actually. All right, so now it's at the very top of the announcement section. As long as we can still donate money to go around the votes. So the biggest thing that the sub-survey tells me is the approximate ratio of what content that I do. I think based on, for example, I think based on the results of the survey, that Double Lord here is real good. Just can't attack with either of these now. It's super unfortunate. Based on the results of the sub-survey so far, I think we're going to continue with about what I've been doing, which is about 40% Pioneer content, 30% Standard, 30% Historic. And 100% reason to remember the name, something like that. Need some spells here, huh? Had a good start, but kind of just ran out of gas now at this point. There's also a chance that like any non-Glorybringer spell just gets spell quellered here, which is not a good scene for us. I'm gonna start by attacking with Bonecrusher. Actually, I think I'm just gonna attack with everything. Or they could just, they're collecting company again. Nebelgast Herald, sure. What I like about Jeff is he's not a liar. If he says he'll go through the sub-surveys, he'll send you a message about ideas. Yeah, I've sent out, I think I sent out 2 or 3 messages from feedback people had in there. Which is another reason why it's important that you put your username down. Not only do I remove sub-survey responses from people who aren't actually subs, because that defeats the purpose of a sub-survey, but being able to message people if they have actionable feedback is valuable too. Phoenix is one of our better draws here for sure. It's a threat that like gums up the board here. I guess they just get to diddle us every turn. I guess if they have another Flash Spirit here, we could be in danger of losing this race, huh? They are at 9. We're probably getting into range of just attack with all next turn, just like hoping they're on blanks. Glorybringer is our best possible draw at this point. Chandra is also okay if we're fortunate they don't have a spell queller. Yeah, they have 1 card in hand. We'll see how aggressive they get here. How aggressive they get this turn will be telling of how good or bad their last card is. If their last card's pretty good, I bet they get pretty aggressive. Just a Herald attack probably means we're in an okay spot. That's scary. If they attack with 2 or more things here, it implies their last card is going to be able to flash in and tap something. Spell. 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 All right. I mean, hey, that's a redraw, right? Yep. So, I mean, we're dead. So, need to attack and hope for the best. This game was a really good example of some of the power of the opponent's archetype. And the power that splashing a color has. Splashing for company. Depending on how they block, if we hit a removal spell with this, we could maybe be okay. Maybe. Very, very likely just dead here, though. Yeah, the collected company into 2/4 toughness things really just put us super far behind. So, if this Bomat Courier draws Chandra Torch of Defiance, we can kill this, which then kills both of these because of how they've blocked. So, if there is a Chandra Torch of Defiance underneath this, we can win this game. That one's not it, folks. That one's not it. Disintegration would not have done it because they have this here. I don't need to knock the deck function. I don't know about that one. Harvester seems good here. Lets our ground pounders block their flying creatures. I think Bomat Couriers, again, not very good here just because the opponent has a lot of stuff that plays to the board. Dreadbore's probably fine. So, I know we were hoping to draw Chandra at the end of that last game, but I actually think she's not very good in this matchup, in large part due to the fact that they have a lot of evasive threats. They're often going to be able to pressure her off of the table. I don't think this is a Thoughtseize matchup. I think I'm happy with this board plan. Let's run it. I'd ask that people pop into the Discord, Gold Dead Ringer rather than that, because non-subs could DM you too, seeing that in chat. It's good to be in the Discord server anyways, too. The Discord server's great. You're doing yourself a favor by taking the time to join Discord. Please use my data responsibly in line with GDPR. I don't believe that data is subject to GDPR. That data is also stored on Google servers, though, so I believe they're the ones that are responsible for GDPR. If my understanding of that mess is correct. Yep, I'm going to be live today, and then all of the next 5 days. Three Pioneer decks into some Arena every day. Soul-Scar Mage definitely makes all of our red removal a little bit better in these matchups. That's for sure. Yeah, this, just like X4s here are just really good against us. We have a lot of 3-power things. Water spells, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. They gave Hexproof to the Supreme Phantom they blocked with. Are usernames classified under data that's protected in that too? I thought it was mostly personal identifiable information, but yeah, as someone who spent a bunch of time trying to read to understand it, I'm not a lawyer, and a lot of it was lost on me. So yeah. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Official Gatherer page lists Once Upon a Time as legal in Pioneer. I mean, what do you expect? The Gatherer, yeah, I was just about to say that, Winspinks. The Gatherer doesn't even list Historic as a format. So, like, you know. Wizards and technology. Lol. It's been kind of funny as someone who's been here part of the Magic ecosystem for a long time. Like, watching the people who came in with Arena be like, man, Wizards, I can't believe Wizards messed this up, and like, I can't believe this happened or that happened. And it's just like, well, for those of us that have been here for the better part of a decade or more, like, this wasn't a surprise to anybody that knows what's going on. They're not wrong, though. We're just desensitized. I mean, yeah, they expected better. We knew better than to expect better. Speaking of that, by the way, does anybody know why I didn't get a preview card this season? I don't understand. Why don't I get preview cards, chat? Can anybody help me out? I can't figure it out. Where's my Theros spoiler? I don't understand. Twin to win. Thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. That's scary. Look at the top 5, grab one. Look at the top 5, grab one. Get a bunch of 5/5s. This is a Hazoret deck. It is not. As always, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link. Wow, this is really good with Stonecoil Serpent, huh? All right, so Any suggestions for Pioneer? Well, that event is happening after January 6th, right? So anybody trying to give you competitive advice for events after January 6th, before January 6th, is just like trying to sell you something, or they don't understand. You should wait until after the next ban list update. As of right now, I would tell you the green ramp deck's cracked in half, and it's the best deck in the format. But I would expect that deck to not be completely legal after the 6th. Hopefully they play Ghostfire Blade and then Serpent as a 4/4 here, so that way I can go land Chandra, shoot the Stonecoil Serpent next turn. I think blue-white control is fine. If you ask me for the next best deck, that would probably be my pick, but I also would be surprised if that deck remained entirely legal. Green ramp and blue-white are the two archetypes that I would expect to see some changes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is how that works, huh? I forgot that had that line of text. Hey, Bomat Courier can jump block Gingerbrute. God bless. Alright, so we get to kill this before it becomes a 7/7. These Ghostfire Blades get unequipped, so they're going to become 5/5s. Antiquities War seems really sweet in the opponent's archetype. The opponent's deck frequently runs out of gas and doesn't have any individually powerful cards, and Antiquities War really works to change that, which is nice. Okay. So the opponent got a little bit too aggressive here. And now I'm not dead. Hey, Pura, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Bits for my deck submission. Pure Vidya, if you could drop me a message and let me know what your deck submission is. Like the email back says, it's helpful if you link the deck list you're donating for in your submission. Well, we are dead in 2 to this. Yeah, they forgot Bomat had haste. So, we should have died there, but they forgot Bomat had haste. So they have no cards left. We're dead in 2 to this Gingerbrute. So they don't have any haste creatures at the moment. Any removal spell could potentially drag us back into the game. Dead to Shrapnel Blast at any point, though. We didn't uptick Chandra because they have a Phyrexian Revoker in play. Gingerbrute's real good. Magma Spray sounds good. Abrade sounds good. Dreadbore sounds good. Harvester sounds good. Chandra Torch of Defiance just gets attacked. Kind of clunky. Gonna cut her. What do I want to trim here? Bomat Courier again? This card's really not great in the creature matchups. Maybe you trim a Heart and a Scrapheap Scrounger. I think I like that. Thanks for the DM, Perva. Noted. I should likely still be here in 6 hours. Thanks for keeping me around. So with a good bit more removal in these post-board games here, we should have a little bit less of a hard time against Ginger Brute. Have an easier time catching up to him. Play versus the draw was a big difference in that last game too. If we had been on the play in that game we just played, we would have gotten to Chainwhirler, killed Ginger Brute, and Steel Overseer on our turn 3, their turn 2, which would have just been game ending. I don't think just banning Elvish Mystic does enough. There are variations of the green ramp deck that only play a Boreal Grazer as 1-mana acceleration. I also don't know how I feel about them like only banning one of the 3 green 1-mana accelerants. Like by only banning one of them, they're sending the message that like they're okay with this happening some amount of the time, right? So it doesn't actually fix the problem, it just makes it higher variance. This curve's real good. I don't know. We have 4 Land War Elves that what you're describing is what we currently have in Historic, and I think it's too good in Historic too. Just Historic doesn't really have competitive stuff, so there's not I'm gonna shock this in to play around a soft stub here. Yep, pretty happy with how I sideboarded. Something you'll see me do when I'm sideboarding a lot, or like taking screenshots of decks, you'll often see me take Bonecrusher Giant and drag it down. And the reason why I do this is because something that's useful when you're sideboarding or deck building in general is you want to be able to visualize the curve of your deck so you can tell how often you're going to be able to play cards on turns like 2, 3, 4. And Bonecrusher Giant is, in my mind, a 2-drop a lot of the time. So it kind of makes sense to like imagine this card here and here. So visually, it helps me to put it in the 2-drop slot. This could definitely just be the matchup we're playing too, but so far in this set, Soul-Scar Mage has been very good, and Bomat Courier has been pretty middling. I feel like I would swap those 2 cards if I were to play this deck again. Like I would play 4 of this and only 3 Bomat Courier. Come on, Tuberov, cut them some slack. Do you have any idea how much work it is to, like, update a database entry to accurately reflect the status of your format? Come on now. There's a lot of wizardry that goes into that. All right, so if we don't hit a removal spell here on 2, we're dead. Sick. Sick. Hashtag in it to win it. This is another good example of like play versus the draw being huge. If we had been on the play this game, our Chainwhirler just slaughters them, whereas we're on the draw, so we're just like fighting to stay afloat as opposed to being very far ahead. Hopefully they don't have a Ghostfire Blade or a way to make this Gingerbrute bigger so Chainwhirler can kill it next turn. Well, I mean, that's like technically Monkey Paw. That's the Monkey Paw response, right? They didn't make the Gingerbrute bigger. Wish granted. Oh, this makes it smaller so I can trade with it or block it. That's real good. That's exciting. The problem here is if I shock this in... If I shock this and I die to Shrapnel Blast, which is not ideal. I think I just have to leave myself dead to Shrapnel Blast here, as much as I hate to say it. Yeah, dead to Shrapnel Blast no matter what we do. Am I dead yet? Maybe they won't have it. You must be new here. This is pretty punishing for me, attacking with this. So we're gonna go up to 7 here. Harvester's gonna die. Yep. 06, right? Because Bomat Courier is getting bigger. The problem with a card like Thoughtseize is that you're frequently in board positions like this, where you have to have a card that plays to the board. And like, if you don't have a card that plays to the board, you die. So like, while Thoughtseize is great on exactly turn 1, anytime past turn 1, which many of your games are going to go past that point, it's very, very bad. Thoughts? I'm blocking the Bomat Courier. If they sack the Bomat Courier, I literally die, Cody. So I think taking the play that leaves me dead on board is bad. Hot take. Taking the play that leaves me dead on board is bad. They left blue up. They have Stubborn Denial. The mistake that turn was I shouldn't have attacked with Soul-Scar Mage. If I hadn't attacked with Soul-Scar Mage, they wouldn't have gotten to hit me with the Bomat Courier. Because I would have been able to crew the Harvester with this and then had a Chainwhirler to block this. So that was a big mistake on my part. Thanks for the 7 months, Pile I appreciate that. Welcome back. Bomat Courier is very punishing for my attack for 3. I don't know, maybe it's right to just make them have the Stubborn Denial there and just jam the Disintegration on the Steel Overseer. So Overseer is going to take over the game very quickly. We're dead to Shrapnel Blast, right? Never not dead to Shrapnel Blast. They attack with everything. I go block, block, block. They trample for 1 and they blast us for 5. Yep. Feel like we're out of range at this point. I think the Overseer's just taken over at this point. Yep. Yeah, opponent's build's got some really unique things going on in it. They've got Steel Overseer. They showed us the enchantment card last game, the Saga. Haven't seen any oven decks in Pioneer. Is it not viable? I have no idea, Caper. Everything's good until proven otherwise. I actually just had a donation for a builder on submission day for a green-black oven deck in Pioneer. Antiquities War. Yeah, that's the one. Joke's on you. I boarded my Chandra Torch of Defiance is out. If I attack with this, am I dead on board? I get to go block, block, block. If I attack with this, am I dead on board? I would get to put a 3 toughness in front of here. And then I would go block, block on the other 2. Oh, the snake has reach. Yeah, it does. All right, yeah, we're super dead. Forgot about reach. Card's got a lot of text on it. It was just a really good example of Steel Overseer being a must-answer threat. There was an article, I forget who wrote it, but there was an article earlier this year that was written that did a good job articulating some of my thoughts on Magic as a game. The author talked about how a lot of the time players view interaction as player agency, when in reality, a lot of the time interaction doesn't really have much agency because of the current designs of Magic cards. So like, that game's a good example of like, where even though I had removal spells, I didn't really have decisions because my decisions were kill Steel Overseer or lose the game. So my only kind of decision is automatically made for me, and then when it doesn't work out because they have Stubborn Denial, I lose the game because of it. I think Magic has a lot of points like that where like there's kind of a decision, but in reality the threats are so pushed that like it's not really a decision. I think one of the things that makes Magic such a great game is the immense amount of deck building decisions and the strategy that goes into sideboarding. But I think it's often overstated how much skill is actually involved inside the actual games of Magic in a lot of these formats and matchups. I think Magic has a lot of different ways to leverage being a good player, but I actually think a lot of the ways in which you leverage being a good player in Magic frequently come down to things you do outside of the actual games. How you build your deck, how you mulligan, how you sideboard. I think all of these decisions tend to matter more than a lot of the choices you make within the actual games. Yeah, and honestly, like talking about mulligan choices, I think that's one of the things that the London mulligan, I think it's one of the reasons why the London mulligan was so important. And it's actually one of the reasons why I think Thoughtseize is such a rancid card. The London mulligan was a new thing that really allowed good players to leverage their play skill over bad players. Because the London mulligan made correctly mulliganing rewarded more often, which I think is one of the things novice players really struggle with. It's one of the most important things that happens. Like, more important than your decisions within the actual game tend to be how you mulligan. Hey, thanks, Picklebolus. I appreciate you keeping me around. It's like a red-black pseudo-mirror, although they're playing Castle Lockway, it's probably a little bit more black in their deck than ours. Ours is like a red deck with a small black splash. I think I'm just going to play another Bonecrusher Giant here. I want to use my mana this turn. I don't know if I strictly agree with that assessment, Panza. Your assessment that the more diverse a format is, the less impactful player skill is in the games. I don't think the diversity of a format necessarily directly impacts how skillful the in-game decisions are. I don't think that's a conclusion I agree with. Isn't part of this player skill correctly recognizing the opponent's game plan and responding accordingly? To a degree, Kritya. So what I'm actually talking about, though, is a lot of the times in what you're saying, responding accordingly is very scripted. One of the best ways to articulate this is in a lot of games of Magic when you're playing, the correct decision is frequently just playing your most expensive card each turn. And I actually think that's one of the reasons why players that gravitate towards Legacy gravitate towards it so much, is because Legacy, because there tends to be a lot of really cheap cards in the format, there tends to be less of those clear, oh, I play my most expensive thing here. I actually think so, and Justin, this is probably going to piss you off, but I actually think Control is one of the easier archetypes to play, because Control decks have a high volume of what I would refer to as those false choice decisions. Those decision points where it's not actually a choice because you have to do this specific thing or the game is over. So you're not really making a choice, you're choosing not to lose the game in that instance. That's what it comes down to. Decks with cheaper cost cards in them tend to have more decisions in them because you have more sequencing choices, which again, to talk about Legacy tends to have a lot of really cheap and efficient spells, which means you're not just playing your most expensive card each turn, you're figuring out which combination of cards that you can cast turn into the most efficient turn. It's not just like, oh, it's turn 3, I play my 3-drop. Oh, it's turn 4, I play my 4-drop. It's, oh, it's turn 3, which of my 3 1-mana spells do I play? Alright. So, red-black on the other side. I think I want my cards that grind a little bit. Extra Chandra, Torch of Defiance sounds good. I don't know if this is a Bloodfast matchup or not. I feel like there's a chance it's not. So again, in general, the point I'm trying to get across, Justin, is that when the choice you're presented with at any given point in a Magic game is answer this thing or die, you don't really have a choice there. You have one option. It's answer that thing or die. That's what I would refer to as a false choice. You kind of feel good about it because you like got to do the thing and you interacted with them. But I think people often incorrectly correlate the ability that you interacted with having decisions to make. Decks that are aggressive tend to have more sequencing decisions because decks that are aggressive tend to have more low-cost spells. And when you have multi-spell turns, that's when your decisions actually start to matter more because it's not just, oh, this is my turn, I play my most expensive card on curve. And I think there's this very emotional response from players where it feels like aggro decks don't have choices because they get so focused on the nut draws where you run people over that they forget about the games where they have to sequence. It's like, think back to the control matchups that we played. Think about how many times the only thing that matters in a game where you're playing is like, did I have Supreme Verdict on 4? It is, while there's definitely exceptions to the rule, Justin, in my experience, saying that on average you're choosing from a bunch of different removal spells generally is not true. The way things play out in reality. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a control deck. I'm not saying you're a bad player if you enjoy control decks, or aggro players are better Magic players than you. I just am talking about the different things that go into it. And I think frequently people overstate the complexity of playing with control decks, especially in the modern design era of Magic. Okay, a lot of the decisions with control decks are very scripted. All right, if they have a Dark Dweller here, it's going to be real scary. Do they get to Dark Dweller? I guess Dark Dweller's not too bad. If they Dark Dweller, they like kill this, but then we Glorybringer, bang Dark Dweller, bang Chandra. Hey, Otts, thanks for the 2 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, we're going to be doing Historic and Standard, rotating on alternate days here. Worth noting here that Glorybringer specifies non-dragon. So I cannot glory bang their Glorybringer. I can however still bang Chandra here. So I got that going for us. Hey, Full Metal, you should make sure to refresh sometimes when you resub. I can get you a sword at any rate. You may have to refresh. Listen, chat, this is a dragon banging Chandra. I'm pretty sure they exerted it. Our opponent didn't play standard. Our opponent didn't play with this card in standard. They also should have been concerned by the fact that I didn't exert mine. That should have also been a flag for them. Maybe they just thought I was terrible. Yeah, good chance. I mean, I am terrible. To be fair. Yeah, I am in fact terrible. Alright, are we dead? I think we're dead. This is just gonna bang my Soul-Scar Mage, and then Kalitas takes over the game. Alright, game the third. Alright, they have a lot of big ends. I definitely want this Disintegration. Cutting that was wrong. Chainwhirler doesn't kill a lot of their stuff. Sure. At some point, this Bomat Courier, is this match 4? Yeah, this is match 4, and our Bomat Couriers have drawn 1 card so far in 4 matches. This card's been super underwhelming so far. You like the deck, but it's bad against both the good decks. Weird. That probably means it's not very good. Not to go breaking your heart, but if it's bad against the 2 good decks, it's probably not very good. That's true. It did block a Gingerbrute. Really? They took Disintegration. That's interesting. I said I like it, not that it's good. Fair. That is a good asterisk. Yep. As you will. Oh, this time we took the Chandra. Sure. Alright, so let's do this. And then we're going to plus her for mana and play the Scrapheap Scrounger. Thanks everybody for hanging out today, by the way. Happy Sunday. Happy almost end of the year. Up to almost 1,000 people in here watching Pioneer Day. You know, it's been kind of wild. The arena numbers have been down so much that, like, Pioneer on Moto's actually had better numbers for me for the last month than arena for the most part. I don't think I want to just jam Bonecrusher Giant here, because if they, like, untap and Glorybringer, that's not great for me. I'd rather hold up Disintegration, I think. To be fair, just to actually you green ET, 6 mana on turn 4 is tempo, it's not value. Isn't there a K in actually? I feel like there's supposed to be a K in actually. Hey, thanks for the compliment in the 6 months, Katana. I appreciate it. So they must just have multiple bangers at this point, right? Because they know my last card's Disintegration. They're just jamming into it. Scrapheap Scrounger showing us here why it's nice and scrappy. If they have a Kalitas, we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. Gonna need to draw a Chandra or a Disintegration or a Dreadbore right away. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. They also have a removal spell. If they have a removal spell for this, we're probably dead. Feels dead, man. Once you've linked your Twitch and Discord, in the Connections tab, there will be a Join Server button. Pass the turn. That attack is terrifying. Hey, thanks for 11 months, Shep. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Glorybringer. Glorybringer. Land. Yep. Sounds right. Sounds right. A year with my favorite liability. Thin me, daddy. Hey, good morning, Whipping Mod. Yeah, I disagree with that. I disagree with that statement. I think there's definitely some situations where you have sequencing decisions on your removal spells, but I think frequently you don't have... I think the average case scenario is you don't have multiple spells in your hand, and a lot of the time, which one is optimal to be casting is very obvious and scripted. Yeah, I think I'm actually supposed to start holding a land to play around Draw Step K command here. So if they don't have an answer to the Phoenix, any burn spell or haste threat is lethal this turn. They have double removal as their last two cards. Because why not? It's a fine one. Stabilizes the board. So if this is the King of Hoaglandia in chat, does that make Jeff the God King? No, I'm the Jester. I am here to dance for the court's entertainment. Scrapheap has 2 pieces of food in our graveyard right now. Just gonna get to start getting in. A brick from them there is real good for us. They can't attack with everything because they die on the backswing. I'm actually kind of surprised they're blocking here. If they don't block there, I'm dead to a removal spell. So, like, now I'm not dead to removal, which is good for me. Especially with 2 pieces of food in there, I feel like they cut themselves off of an out by doing that. Hey, Rollins, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That Duress there is a very good example of why I explicitly did not board in my discard spells in a matchup like this. While drawing Duress, Thoughtseize, and others earlier will often feel very good. I think, oh, I'm so dumb. I obviously should have killed this because then I don't take 2. Whatever. While they feel good early, these games often come down to top decking situations like this, where one player where you have to draw cards that impact the board, and like, I'm drawing Dreadbores and they're drawing Duresses. Hey, congrats, Thirsty King. Yeah, drawing discard spells in situations like this is game losing. Like, just think about if that Duress my opponent drew had been a meaningful spell. Are they dead? They're dead, right? No, because they can kill. This is a Chainwhirler, not a thing. Oh, it's a good one. I was thinking mine was I was thinking I had a Bonecrusher Giant, but I don't. Alright, so any removal spell is lethal here. Any haste creature, any burn spell, any Chandra. Alright, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. Onward, upwards, backwards, forward. We're at our first burrito match of the day. Got one more match here with this red splash black mid-range control deck, big red, whatever you want to call it, red black aggro. Then we've got some red white feather to close out our pioneer portion this morning. Then we're gonna roll on into some historic on Magic Arena for the remainder of the afternoon. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Remember, if you're enjoying the content, you're new, make sure to hit that follow button. Doesn't cost you anything, lets you know when I go live and with what. I'm generally here Monday through Friday throughout the week. You can also check out my website as well if you're new to my content. There's tons of great stuff up there. Basically, every deck that I stream gets cut up and added to my YouTube channel and my website. Very easily searchable and organizable to find exactly the content you want. Yeah, I really think that third game of that last match was a good example of what we were talking about earlier, which is that your decisions outside of the game really matter. Like, I think my opponent definitely lost that third game because of how they elected to sideboard. If their Duress had been a spell that impacted the board, I'd likely lose that third game. Basic Forest and no turn 1 ramp card. You even lift, bro? I have a Collective Brutality here. Hopefully they take a look at my hand. Oh, they're a Soul Flare deck. Weird, and they discarded Soul Flare. So they miss on the discard mode here, because I don't have any instants or sorceries. This card's terrifying. Their start's pretty medium, though. They haven't put anything in the bin just yet. Could change very quickly, though, I suppose. Yeah, this is definitely a race. So we're cracking them. We have a relatively quick clock here, huh? Murderous Rider, yep. Had a relatively quick clock. If I play Chandra and get Questing Beasted, I'm a little sad. I think I'm again just using her to make mana. In these more aggressive decks, your Chandra makes mana pretty frequently. I think I'm supposed to attack. If they untap and Questing Beast, my Chandra dies, but I think I need to get them dead here. I don't think I can afford to play around things they may or may not have. Yeah, I didn't notice. I don't recall if my opponent mulliganed or not, but their hand was definitely a little bit weak this game. So speaking of Questerson, they did find a Questing Beast off that Vessel of Nascency. Yep, this can't block, so it's dead. Chandra's dead. Have her kill Soul Flare, and then I'm going to go ahead and attack with Scrapheap Scrounger here. And then Questerson can force Chandra off the table along with an attack for Murderous Rider, but Rekindling Phoenix gets to eat Questing Beast in that outcome, so that's fine for me. So we're basically like trading Chandra for Questing Beast. Seems like a reasonable exchange for us. When their Questing Beast attacks your Chandra, it's still right to block the Questing Beast here, but it's kind of funny that they attacked it at Chandra. Bonecrusher is great. To clean that right on out. Tap this for black using the Urborg so we don't pay life. Attack them for 7. Rekindling Phoenix, really flexing some of its muscles here nicely. It's technically optimal to play this post-combat. In actuality, it doesn't matter. Attack with this, put you to 2. Huh? I think this is actually a Thoughtseize matchup. Just because being able to take Soul Flare is a big deal. Chandra can kill Soul Flare as well. Maybe these Dreadbores are good. Maybe. Chainwhirler doesn't accomplish a whole lot. I really have not liked these Bomat Couriers. They've been real medium. I guess you kind of need them for the artifact count. Easy mulligan. This hand's fine. Not super exciting, but fine. Turn 2, turn 3, attack for 4. Run some lands off, curve into a banger. Now, without a Thoughtseize, like, if my opponent's deck just, like, has a good Soul Flare draw, we basically can't win. So we're mostly hoping to just, like, dodge their best draws while applying pressure ourselves. Oh, that's a huge... Oh, God. Well, you know. Hopefully we draw a Mountain or a Swamp. So, obviously, should have played Foreboding Ruins there. Because now I don't have 2 more untapped lands. Had I played Foreboding Ruins there, I would have had untapped land 2, 3, 4. Now I do not. So, like, now I can't cast Chandra on curve next turn without a land draw. I think, like, most times Magic players try and do that, Clipsy, you're way oversimplifying it. Those cards do very different things. No Murderous Rider is great for us. There's a Salvage. They hit a Questing Beast. Yeah, I think that's a good takeaway, Dwight. Like, our lack of ability to keep the board clear early makes Bomat Courier a lot worse. I kind of feel like I just cut the artifact sub-theme and just like play some scrap heaps and hearts because they're good. So their Soul Flayer is going to have Death Touch, Lifelink, Haste, Vigilance. The fact that they haven't found Zatalpas in these games have been real good for us. The fact that I don't have a land to play this Chandra this turn is real bad for me. So had I clicked on the right land on turn 2, I'd play Chandra, kill the Soul Flayer here, but I didn't, so I can't. It's a really big deal. Can at least attack in with this since it is first strike. We put a damage on their thing. This Heart of Kiran can threaten a block this turn, which is nice. They have Murderous Rider. They get to go through it, though. Chirp. If I attack with the heart and they don't block, which they're not likely to because their thing has lifelink, then they hit me the following turn and just lifelink back. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Giant dragons blowing through ya. Do 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 do. Yeah, I feel like my takeaway from this deck from playing it is like I want to just pull up a little bit. I think I would get rid of the Bomat Couriers. I think I would play some more Glorybringers, probably add a 25th land in. Something like that. Disintegration is not lethal because I don't currently have an artifact. Rekindling Phoenix has been good. Been very, I think flying creatures are great in this format. Rekindling Phoenix, just like in the blue-red Phoenix, the blue-red Eldrazi deck has been good here. Now I think these decks are doing similar things. I don't like the black splash in this deck, and I don't like the Bomat Courier part of this deck, but I think overall I like this build more than the red build we played yesterday. So we have some similar things going on, but I think overall I like this build a little bit better. So this disintegration will be lethal. You need to set your deck to best of 3 historic, Paradise Sal. The card is banned in best of 1. I started a bit earlier. As a heads up, I'm up at 8 a.m. every day. The tutelage deck was rough, Bone Daddy. Three mana cards that don't impact the board are a hard sell in this format. Yeah, we had some fun games, but in terms of being competitive, it was a dumpster fire. Is there ranked best of 3? That's what we play all the time, Sal. I don't do best of 1 on this stream. All right, so thoughts on this one. This deck is very similar to the big red deck we played yesterday. I felt like this package was not good, though. I feel like if we're getting rid of the Bomat Courier's Disintegration, probably doesn't have enough artifacts, and I'm not certain that I want to add other artifacts to make it playable. So I feel like I might just play some Dreadbores instead of these Disintegrations. Cut these Bomat Couriers. I think I'd want to go up Glorybringers. This card is consistently just the best 5-drop in this format. I think getting up to a 4th Soul-Scar Mage is probably good. This card's excellent with our red base removal. It's good with Goblin Chainwhirler as well. You may or may not want a 25th land if you're adding some Glorybringers at the top end. Could go either way on that. You could add a utility land, like you could add a castle. You could even add a black castle maybe, if you want to be able to draw cards on occasion, although that one would often come into play tapped, so maybe that's a bad idea. You can play a Mutavault or 2 perhaps if you're going up on the land count. I think 23 red for Chainwhirler is probably fine, so playing like 2 Mutavaults and 25 lands would be okay. But at any rate, I think these aggressively slanted red mid-range decks are a reasonable choice in the format. I think they have decent interaction, and they have draws that are capable of being aggressive enough to run the ramp decks down, which is something that you need to be able to do in the current format. Very possible with wanting to run red ramp decks down in mind that playing Goblin Rabblemaster, like the red deck we played yesterday, is a good idea too, so... Alright, so what are we doing? Up next, we've got some red-white feather coming up in Pioneer here. So I'm going to go ahead and place an order with my sponsor to get some cards for this. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while we get set up. I'll be back in a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.